What's up, people? It's your boy Profection back again with another video. Okay, I wasn't gonna come back. I was gonna take a little break, but over the last couple of weeks, there've been just people around me generally kind of using the term. I think because I put mental health in so many of my videos, I've had people kind of loosely just throwing it around mental health like it's some kind of joke. Some of them I've had to come back really harsh at, and I think this is the purpose of this video. Some of them I've had to really, like, literally psychologically destroy them for the way they've been doing it, because the purpose of me being on here and mentioning mental health is to actually give people a slight understanding of it. It's not for people to then suddenly start joking around and throwing it in people's faces and all that kind of stuff, because it just kind of defeats the whole object of it. It's no different than racism, really. I'll get into that in a minute. But over the last few days, a recent incident happened in Forbury Park. What was it now? Reading, where a Libyan national walked into the park. He saw people in large groups. He's walking around them, and then from what I know, he walked up to a group of 10 people, pulled out some 5-inch blade, and literally started stabbing people. Apparently, he was stabbing people in the neck, and 3 Caucasian males, I think they died, 3 of them died before they eventually got to this guy. I think the police ran and tackled him, not even knowing that he had the knife on him, okay, which I think, again, I do discredit the police in some of my videos, and I know it's wrong. I think it's important for me to say, I know that it's wrong, because I think I said in one of my previous videos that I just done, which video did I say it in? If you go back to the video before this, so that would have been, forget, I'm not gonna disrupt my video to try and figure it out, but I did say, police are bad and they can't be trusted, this or that. A majority of them are. It's as simple as that, and I stand by it. A majority of them are, okay? Because a lot of them will stand by and watch certain things happen, and be afraid to speak out. So from my standpoint, a lot of them are, a large majority of them are, okay? But you do get your odd cop here and there that is good, okay? Where am I going with this? Yeah, so when this happened, this Libyan guy stabbed these 3 people, and I do, again, just like George Floyd, I don't condone innocent people being killed. I don't condone it. I don't really condone anyone being killed, but especially innocent people. And just like my what do you call it? Just like my George Floyd, what is white power? What is white privilege video? I don't care to know these white people's past and things like that. All I know is they didn't deserve to be killed. Okay, they didn't deserve to be killed. I don't need to know whether they're heroes before that, although one of them was a brilliant school teacher or something like that from Canada, something along the lines of that. I don't need to know that. All I know is just wrong. It was wrong for them to be killed, okay? The guy has been apprehended. But I've gone onto social media and I've seen people kind of throwing this whole mental health thing out there, and it kind of ties in to racism in a sense, because it's almost like you're getting average people now kind of talking about what mental health is, and it's not. And again, like I said, over the last couple of weeks, I've been around people that have been throwing it out there to me. Luke, this is what mental health is, and that's what mental health is, and an average person trying to explain to me what mental health is no different than kind of like a white person trying to explain to a black person what it is to be black. And the perfect example of that was I was watching this video the other day, and it had black directors. I think it was on the BBC. It was before a program called I Am Not Your Negro, I think it's called. Before that program, no, sorry, after that program, there was a program that came on about black directors, and one of them in particular said before he became a director or a filmmaker that he would go for certain roles as a black person, and it's happened over here as well, so it's not just America. And they would get him to read a script, and when he would read it, the white director, it was a director, the white director would stand up and say, no, try it by being more black. And he's saying this to a black person, so the black person was thinking, I don't understand, what do you mean be more black? I am black. And then the guy would get up and he'd say, no, try it like this. Yo, man, I don't know what you saying, dog. And he was like, okay, um, yo, man, I don't know what you're saying, dog. Is that okay? And the guy would say, no, 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 no. Check this out. Yo, man, I don't know what you saying, dog. And the black guy was like, okay, yo, man, I don't know what you saying, dog. Is that good? And the white guy was like, yeah, yeah, that's it. That's what I'm looking for. So it was almost like, well, it wasn't almost like, it was the same thing that happens over here. Um, it'll be a cold day in hell before any white person tells a black person what it is to be black. The same way it'd be a cold day in hell before an average person tells someone that's mentally ill, or I won't use the term mental ill, which I'll get into in another, and I'll get into that in a bit as well, because that's something else that's come up, and I'll talk about that. Before an average person tells someone that's mental health what mental illness is, it's the same kind of thing. Okay, it's a huge insult. I did another video, if you guys remember, talking about what is bisexual versus straight, because although again I don't really want to talk about this because I haven't really done as much research, but if you type in straight men versus bisexual men, there's a few people talking on the topic. I haven't gone into their videos, so I'm making an assumption, but the assumption I'm making is that a few people that have made these videos are gay and bisexual, okay, and they're sitting down and they're basically telling people the difference between straight and gay. And I don't know if they're qualified to do that. You know, I don't know if they're qualified to do it. The reason why I done it, and I'm not going to try to stray from this whole mental health thing, I'll get back to it, but it's the same kind of thing. The reason why I done it was because there was again, I was watching a video, I can't remember what it was, I think it was on Trump or Obama, I think it was on Obama, and they said apparently how Obama had put through some sort of legislation to allow the LGBTQ community to have more rights. Through that video there, other transsexual videos started kind of popping up. The very first one from the Obama that popped up was one of a little boy, okay, and he was about 5-6 years old, and the parents felt that he was quite feminine, and basically they allowed him to have a sex operation. They dressed him up in girls' clothes from the age of about 12, 13, and then they allowed him to have some operation at a very early age. And that's the second video I clicked on, and from that, a whole bunch of tranny videos started popping up. And I was curious, not curious as in wanting to have sex with them, but curious just to listen to what they have to say, really. And one of the videos that I watched was of one, I think it's called They Think I'm Trans, and quite a few transgendered women come on there, and they give their explanation as to incidents they had when men thought they were women and found out that, you know, they were trans women or whatever you want to call it. But at the end of one of those videos, one woman turns around and says, well, if a guy is attracted to me, then he must be gay, kind of thing. And that really annoyed me. That annoyed me in a big way. I was pissed off about that. I was like, you know what, I need to do some sort of reply to that, because that's not the case, and that's quite misleading. And to people out there that are kind of, I don't want to sound harsh about it, but may not be confident enough in themselves, or they may not be worldly enough to kind of be able to articulate themselves and make sense out of what kind of world we live in today, you know. I said I'll be a spokesperson on behalf of that, and that's where that whole video came from. But just to clarify and get back to the whole mental health thing, is that it will be a cold day in hell before I turn around and tell homosexual people what it's like to be homosexual and gay, the same way it'd be like for someone that was homosexual to then tell me what it is to be straight, okay? For a homosexual, gay, bisexual, whatever it is, to get online and then tell men that they can have sex with other men and still class themselves as straight. that they can then receive oral sex from another man and then class themselves as straight. That they can, you know, just like Blair White, there's this transgendered, transsexual, vestite, whatever you wanna. Don't want to sound derogatory here, but Blair White still has, from what I know, still has a penis there, but her boyfriend is claiming to be straight. So when he goes to bed at night and he's feeling around, there's a penis down there, but he's saying he's straight. So I can't define what it is to be gay, homosexual, but it'd be a cold day in hell before someone lesbian, gay, bisexual, whatever, then gets online and tells me what it's like to be a straight person. You stay in your lane, I'll stay in my lane, okay? A spade is a spade, you know. So getting back to the whole mental health thing now, there's a lot of people out there that are running around and they're kind of throwing this mental health thing out there, almost like they kind of, you know, they have knowledge behind it or this or that. Who's giving you that knowledge? You know, where does that come from? Okay. In the latest incident that's happened with this lesbian guy, they said, I mean, I didn't hear too much about it. And again, even in this, sorry, I keep changing the subject here. When I went on to this kind of video and it said briefly about it, what happened, and then they interviewed some guy that knew him, and this guy gets on TV and he says, you know, and he articulated himself quite well. You know, he wasn't a Harvard University graduate or anything like that, but he articulated himself. He had quite positive things to say. He said, you know, he always seemed to be a good guy when he's around me. I never really saw anything. We occasionally smoked a bit of marijuana. He was all right. Sometimes when girls walk by, we chat to girls or this or that. I think I know he had a bit of mental health. And there's some women in the description. She says something like, again, judging. She says, why, out of all of the people, why do they have to put an idiot like him on TV? Why is the guy an idiot? What makes this guy an idiot? You know, but again, this is what I say to people about karma, you know, when they start doing things like that. When you start judging people you don't know, the guy's not an idiot. The guy hasn't done anything wrong. So just, you know, give the guy, cut him some slack here. Right, getting back. So in regards to this guy, he did have a past of throwing things out of his window and things like that. So again, from what I've gathered, maybe he should have been sectioned. He should have been sectioned, okay? But he's one out of... Mental health in itself is a big maze. It's like a matrix. It's like a maze the size of London, okay? To say that, to try to kind of generalize and say, what way can I put it? It's such a tough thing to explain. There were people in the comment section of the video that said he should have been locked up a long time ago. Why is it that these mental health guys don't get locked up or this or that? It's kind of, it's ignorance, because it's very hard to know these days who does suffer from mental health and who doesn't, okay? Tyson Fury suffers from mental health, but he can clearly articulate himself. He's quite funny. If Tyson Fury walked into any pub or, you know, sat down in any scaffolding site or you know, or work site or whatever, no one would ever think Tyson Fury suffered from mental health. There's many people out there mental health, and you would never know that they had mental health. It's not as obvious as you think it is. So when people are saying, oh, we should throw these mental health freaks we should have them locked up quite early, you know, from the time that we start seeing signs. There's many people out there mental health, okay? Some that don't even know that they have it. What shocks me in my life is suddenly I'm around some of my friends and being open with them about it, and they've known me for years. They if anything, I'm the last person they would suspect had mental health. But now all of a sudden there's cruel jokes being thrown around. Oh, Luke, you know, I guess he's just like you and this and that. But it wasn't like me for the last 20 years when I never told you I had mental health. Now all of a sudden I'm just like him. So it's kind of, it's stupid, you know, and it's ignorance. There's a lot of people out there, mental health issues, a lot of them. But it's the ones that generally get sectioned, and it's the ones that find it hard to A, hold down a job, and B, maintain a relationship. be it with family or friends. If they struggle to hold down a relationship, mainly because of most likely some sort of maybe some sort of mood disorder, um, or they're unable to control their emotions, or they become too clingy, or they're not clingy enough. Those kind of things prevent them from holding down relationships. But if they're unable to hold down a job, that's generally when we can say, boom, there's a problem with this person. They're unable um, to hold down a job, and generally see a problem with them. Well, why are they unable to hold down a job? And then again, that will most likely lead to their relationships with people. It will most likely lead to some sort of mood disorder. Um, that's generally how we diagnose most people. But there are people out there with mental health that are holding down jobs. I said to one of my friends that are professors at university. Um, well, okay, guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to do number 2, and then I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for staying with me. I know this one might seem boring. The mental health one always does, but I'm trying to make it as interesting as possible. See you around for part 2. Peace.